Oh my god, you've got to be kidding! In League of Legends, I think it's hard to argue that there's any role less liked than support. Obviously, people have their favorite roles, and the more popular roles may change from season to season for which is most popular, but throughout League of Legends history, there has always been one least popular role, and that is support. I don't think I really have to tell you guys how much people hate it, and now that I think about it, you all know this, which means this intro might be a little bit of a waste of time. Anyway, the reason I bring this up today is because of something that's been mumbled around the League of Legends community a little bit recently. People keep on saying Riot should make support a more enjoyable role. I agree. I don't know if that's entirely possible, but if it is, it would be great. I mean, if every role were played equally and we could all ditch autofill. However, I don't know if people really know what it is about support that makes it the least desirable role for some people to choose to main, which is why I want to talk about it today. There are some obvious things that people will tell you makes supporting suck. You don't get to deal any damage, you're helpless if your AD carry is bad, and it's not really a mechanically intense role since you don't get to last hit. All of these have a certain degree of truth to them, but I think there's one big thing that a lot of people miss, and there's also an interesting contradiction about support that makes it tough to fix everything, at least in League of Legends. The idea of having a designated support class in a party is something that originated in the early days of video games and tabletop gaming, similarly to how we outlined the history of tanks in our tank video. When you have a role-playing game with class specialization, it makes sense to have a designated party that focuses almost solely on buffing and healing allies or hurting enemies with curses or crowd control or some sort of debuff. The thing that I find so interesting about the role, though, is that they're always necessary. Even in team-oriented PvP games, it's never a good strategy to not have a support and sacrifice your support for another DPS or tank or other character. At least one DPS, one tank, and one healer is always required and will reign supreme over a team that sacrifices a healer for another DPS in almost every game that has these classes in them. Even though you have much less damage and much less tankiness by choosing to place a support on your team, they always have so much of an impact on the game that they outclass all the other non-support comps when played properly. This is true in most games, as I said, and it's certainly true in League of Legends. In normal games, or maybe bronze games or something, you can try a crazy kill lane bot if you want, but when it comes to ranked and competitive play, you need to have a support. A good support carry combo bot lane will crush everything in their path. Supports are that good. Even doubling the damage dealers down bot lane isn't enough to stop a good support. Think about that for a second. That's how useful the role is and how much of an impact they can have on a game. Choosing simply to not have a support on your team is basically suicide in League of Legends. They have that much of an effect, yet nobody wants to play the role. I mean, that seems like insanity. One of the most important and necessary roles is the least played. If that really is true, then why? Well, the answer will be different and more specific depending on who you ask. People have their own different gripes about playing support that may vary from person to person. But if you ask me, I believe the big problem with support, in a much more general sense, is there's no statistical measurement for when a support player makes a good play. Think about it. When you play top lane in League of Legends, you can measure all the good and bad you do in a game. If you CS well, you'll see it. If you get solo kills, you'll see it. And if you mess up and you get outplayed, then you'll see it. All of your triumphs and mistakes are recorded for you, your teammates, and your opponents to see, and you can show your friends a crazy good KDA you used to carry a team after the game if you really go off. That's true for almost every role in League of Legends. It changes a little bit, like you may be a tank and you want to get more assists and less kills, giving the kills to your carry, or you may be an assassin who wants to steal as many kills as possible to snowball and minimize your deaths, but it's all there recorded, except for support. If you land a good hook as a Thresh or a Blitzcrank player and you end up netting your team a kill, that isn't measured or recorded in any stat line. You get an assist, sure, but anyone who did a single auto attack of damage to that target also gets an assist for the kill. You're the sole reason your team was able to get that kill with your amazing skill shot, but that isn't recorded anywhere in game. The top laner who threw out the one meaningless auto attack got just as much of a boost to their KDA as you did to yours. The same goes for a Janna or a Nami or any other non-initiating support that's a little more defensive. If you make some crazy good save and prevent your teammates from dying, your team has one less death, but that's not recorded anywhere, that you're the sole reason that your team has an extra non-death. Your skill is completely forgotten about in the stats, and you get your incredible saves off, and then set up for your AD carry Lucian or someone to go get a ton of kills, and then the chat will say, "Hey, nice job, Lucian." I mean, if you do everything right, nobody will know that you've done anything at all. I think this is where people's lack of wanting to play support all stems from. It's because there's no glory in the role, but the reason there's no glory is because nobody gets to show off what they do. You get to show off if you carry a game single-handedly as Zed mid lane, but you don't get anything that you can really be proud of or any sort of impressive stat line if you play support. Good supports typically breed KDAs that look a little like this: a small number of kills, ideally 0, as few deaths as possible, and then a ton of assists. You get that sort of stat line if you get all sorts of crazy good setups for your teammates to go on massive killing sprees, and then you save them from their near-death experience when they overextend, all while you never put yourself so far forward that you die yourself. But you know what? Assists are actually pretty easy to come by in League of Legends, and even if you aren't a good support player, you can still get this stat line by playing kinda passively and then just doing the bare minimum work and getting carried. I mean, just look at me. I don't know what the hell I'm doing as a support player, but I can sit back and then just let my team carry me, and wha-bam! That's the kind of score that an actual support player will get when they play their hearts out. The fact that I was able to do that while half asleep and watching TV on my second monitor is kind of disgusting. Support is one of the most important roles in League of Legends that has a huge outcome on the game. For a good support player, though, who helps out the AD carry and helps carry your team, you get rewarded with a win, sometimes, and exactly 0 prestige. Not only are you trying to carry with one of the hardest roles to carry with, but you don't get appreciated for it at all. And this is what I believe is the #1 problem with why people don't play support. It's a whole lot of work for a whole lot of nothing. You play one of the toughest roles to carry with and get 0 appreciation for it, both in the sense that the community and your teammates won't give you credit or prestige for the win, but also your stats won't look all that pretty, at least not any more pretty than what an idiot can get with pure luck. Ironically, the only thing I can even think of to try and make the role a little more prestigious would be maybe make assists harder to come by for supports and maybe make it easier to kill supports and something like that, which would make scores a little more valuable and glorified. But that's just nerfing supports. That's the opposite of what we should be doing right here. Riot has gone down a bit of a path to try and make more options available for players with different playstyles in the support role. In other words, they're just making some semi-carry mages playable like Malzahar and Zyra, which is taking the role in the wrong direction in my opinion, rather than just making support a role that can also be a carry role, just like every other role in League of Legends. I'd rather see an attempt at making it more satisfying and rewarding when you successfully carry a team with the Janna, Nami, Lulu, Leona, and give incentives to play the role because, oh my god, I'm so sick of autofill. I'm so sick of autofill, and I'm so sick of Zyra Malzahar bot lane every single game. Anyway, I hope you guys all enjoyed watching today's video. If you liked it, feel free to leave a like, maybe subscribe to the channel. I make more of these videos every day that I can, that I'm not being lazy. And hey, if you disliked it, that's perfectly okay. Feel free to yell at me in the comments down below about how I shouldn't talk about support when I'm such a bad support. It's not like I know the role inside and out. Feel free to leave your own feedback in the comments down below. Either way, though, I'll see you all tomorrow. Until then, thank you very much for watching. Good luck in solo queue, and have a wonderful day.